You're paying for apps that you don't use, can't find, and definitely don't even need. Welcome back. Today we're wading into the digital swamp. Think about that one kitchen drawer you have at home that has like the dead batteries, the menu of the restaurant that doesn't even exist anymore, and the power adapter to God knows what technology. That drawer is your entire company's software budget. In most cases, there's a massive layer of digital sludge sitting right under the surface of the org chart. It's an ecosystem of shadow IT and forgotten subscriptions that are quietly pulling your budget underwater. It's like paying for the gym membership that I paid for 3 days into COVID and I never used again. But in your workplace, the problem with not only are you spending money, but that's just one more security gap that you have unplugged. My name is Nabil, and I've been with Data Prize for 18 years. And today, Tad, who's also been with Data Prize for a little bit longer than I have, and I are going to help you learn how to stop the sink and finally drain the swamp. Tad, in my world, a mess doesn't happen all at once. It's just one piece of junk at a time until the whole exit is blocked. People say that the digital swamp is actually made of reasonable decisions. Can you explain that?
Certainly, Nabil. So nobody sets out to wreck their own IT budget. Every tool in your environment was somebody else's reasonable decision. The project team needed a tracker. Marketing needed an analytics tool for that one new platform. Finance needed specific reporting software because the tax code had changed. Every one of those decisions made complete sense in isolation, but 5 years of reasonable decisions add up to chaos. That's the reasonable decision trap. You end up with entropy triumphing every time. You get redundant licenses, orphaned admin accounts, integrations nobody remembers wiring together, and a bill that shows up in 3 different places. Entropy is the natural state of an application portfolio. If you aren't actively fighting it, your stack is growing, aging, and costing you more every single day. Managing your app portfolio is like finally checking every recurring charge on your credit card. You're going to find a gym membership, 3 trials you never canceled, and something called Optimize Pro that nobody in the company has ever heard of, but it's been auto-renewing since 2021.
All good points, Tad. And that opens a segue for me to talk about people hiding. Tad, you and I are in DC, so you know how when we get our mail, we take the big clunk of mail, we don't want to see what's in the middle, and we throw it into a drawer because we know that there's probably a DC traffic light cam ticket in there. Well, that's called the ostrich effect. And so businesses do that. So now you have a people problem because people wrap their identity around apps. Like, for instance, like a Bob, he's been the master of a legacy system for 10 years. And to him, retiring the app feels like, well, you're getting rid of him. And so then there's the ostrich effect, which I just talked about, where leaders are just don't want to admit that they don't know what's running on their own network. So it's just easier to keep the head in the sand. And then you have your citizen developers building custom apps that run the entire department. But if that person wins the lottery and leaves, company might stop making money. So then back to you, Tad. So in businesses, every unmanaged app is an unlocked door. So what's the real liability here when we start leaving these digital doors open?
Every unmanaged application in your environment is an unlocked door. And what that means depends on where you sit. In the private sector, the conversation is about money. You're lighting cash on fire. You've got redundant licenses, zombie maintenance contracts, 5 project management tools, and nobody consolidated after the last reorg. That's all real dollars. Show a CFO the seat count versus the daily active users and watch the room go quiet. Now, in the public sector, the currency isn't profit, it's trust. If a system fails, citizens don't get services. And when you have a sprawling portfolio of forgotten, unpatched apps, each one is an attack surface. Hackers don't care that you didn't know the server was still running. We didn't know it existed is not a legal defense in a deposition. Here's what applies to everyone. You would not sign a lease on a building without knowing how many rooms it has. But that's exactly what you're doing with your data. Every single day, you're not managing your application portfolio. Leaving unmanaged apps running is like going on vacation and leaving your front door wide open because you didn't want to slow down the house sitter.
So let's move from the swamp to an actual strategy. So part of our strategies, we like to look at a 5 lens. We look at alignment, business value, technical health, user experience, and total cost. We also like to triage software. We don't boil the whole ocean. We start with the big ones, the ERPs, your CRMs, and we prove its methodology first. And then we give dispositions. We give it like a retire, a modernize, a tolerate. And so tolerate could just be like there's not enough money spent on that software and the cultural damage that it would create could be greater, so we might just tolerate it. And so we move IT from being the department of no to a strategic partner. We don't just take away tools. We give Bob better and faster car so that he can be a lead designer instead of a mechanic. So success isn't fewer apps. It's just one throat to choke. Accountability model. Every app must have an owner, or otherwise it's a zombie. And you don't want a network full of zombies. Thank you, Tad, for joining me today. That's all we got. If you have a teammate who's still hoarding old spreadsheets, or an IT team that needs to hear this, either tag them or share this video with them. Please show us love by clicking like at the bottom, and we hope to see you soon.